What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Top Figure podcast. We have a special guest today, and yeah, man, we're so excited to have this conversation today. We're gonna talk about so much stuff. We're gonna get deep in a lot of things, and yeah, I'm excited.
Yes, let us introduce a well-decorated individual who's an American executive and activist, 2019 Blossom Award recipient, 2018 Ambassador for Change in Health and Wellness, 2018 Boss Woman of the Year,
Yes.
Atlanta's top 100 women in business, White House Drum Major of Service Award under Barack Obama, and also the author of the book Breakthrough, Sold Separately, Get Out of Mediocrity and Walk on Water. Please welcome Brandi Harvey. We are so excited to have you on our podcast.
Hey, what's up? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being on the podcast. And yeah, for the few people that don't know who you are, give us like a quick intro, your story, your background, and then we'll start from there.
Oh my God, it's the elevator pitch. It's the 30 seconds. Who are you? Listen. Well, I'm Brandi Harvey. I'm a sister, I'm a auntie. Listen, I'm a homie, I'm a lover, I'm a friend, you know. But I'm an author, a podcast host, founder of Beyond Her, which is an active wellness brand for women of color. I inspire people to eat well, give a damn, and move their bodies. So everything about my life is inspiring people to go higher, to become the best versions of themselves, live a higher life, vibrate higher. And I think that that's just what my life's work has been, from being an executive with my family's foundation, starting the mentoring programs, doing all that. I think it's just my whole life from being a high school teacher, has always just about evoking change in people. I'm really in the business of change making, that's really what I look at my business. It's just really, I'm a change maker. And so I'm in the business of changing people's lives. And so I just try to live my life as the best example possible, practice what I preach, and go forward, and just teach people how to do that in the same way.
That's awesome. So like let's really start from there though. What has gotten into you of what has got you started into caring about your health, caring about your mental health and this whole process, because it's not like something that you just grow up knowing. You have to actually study this. You have to actually put time into it, and you got to love the craft.
It kind of fell upon me. I was a sophomore in college. I was 19 years old. I went to visit my father for spring break in Los Angeles. And he was like, oh, my fluffy girls. Now I got a twin sister. And so he was like, my fluffy girls. And I was like, fluffy? Like, what the hell does he mean by fluffy? Like, I'm so confused. And like, I asked my sister, like, you think he calling us fat? And she was like, I don't even care. Like, what? Like, we not fat, right? I think, when you were at an HBCU and everybody kind of thick and you eating fried chicken on Wednesday and Friday and they serve rice with every meal, you kind of just wanting the number. But my father at 19 years old, when he told me that, where like most people now would be like, oh, he fat shamed or he, tried to shame her. No, like he woke up the sleeping giant inside of me. And I think that all the time we are looking for people to kind of, help us, elevate us. But a lot of times it's them pushing us, and making us uncomfortable and making us look at ourselves and see ourselves in a different light. And my father, at 19, when he looked at me, he was like, that's not the life you want. I know you. That ain't the life you want. And so at 19 years old, my mindset began to change and I started working out. And from that, I became a fitness competitor. I became a certified group fitness instructor. I started teaching spin. I started teaching group fitness. I became a personal trainer. I started a meal delivery business, like to meal prep for people. Like everything about my life just spawned from that one moment. And I think it was because he knocked on the door and said, wake up. This is not what you want. And I took that as a driving force for me to now, 20 years later, it is a foundational principle in my life. My health is my wealth. And because I started in the physical health, it started to lead me down this path to get my emotional and mental health. it shifted my idea of what my spiritual health looked like, because I grew up in the church, and I started to challenge those beliefs as I got older. And I started to flip the script, and it made a whole lot of people uncomfortable. And I was okay with that because I had to get uncomfortable, and so that was really it. That was the start of it, was my father telling me that at 19 years old. And I was like, oh, hell no. And I was like, you know what? I'm about to go for it. And I just kept, taking it higher and higher.
But you know what I love about that? You took a message that would offend a lot of people, and a lot of people would actually be, mad at their father for saying that. But like, you actually said it and took it as motivation and fuel to actually put it behind you. And now, like, it's completely changed your life. And that's an important lesson there that a lot of people don't realize. When someone tells you something you don't want to hear, it's actually the best thing, right? But too often we take it as like an insult, and we're like, yo, why are they saying these things to me? Like, I don't care, da, da, da. So like, that mindset, do you still carry that mindset till this day? Like, you take criticism very well?
It is how I live my life. I mean, I'm a very disciplined person, but I didn't realize how disciplined I was, like in college and stuff. I think you kind of just go through the motions. I mean, I pledged, I did all those things. I was in leadership, in college and high school and growing up. And when I became a fitness competitor at 24 years old, I moved here to Atlanta, and I started training to become a fitness competitor. And I remember sitting at the table with my father for Father's Day. It was a Father's Day dinner, and they had everything. I mean, it was lobster, it was lamb chops, it was the cakes, it was the, what I'm saying? It was the spread for the king, you know what I'm saying? So we sitting at the table, and I got a Tupperware dish with a fourth of a cup of broccoli and 6 ounces of fish. And I opened up that Tupperware dish, and everybody at the table was like, I know you lying. It was like, I know you lying. And my dad was at the other end of the table, was like, you were the most disciplined person I've ever seen in my life. Like, I don't know how you're sitting here with all this in front of you and you're still choosing to do that. But I was locked in. And I think that it's just like, that's just been my mindset for my life. It's like, when I get locked in on something, you can't get me off of that. You know what I'm saying? And so from that moment of what he did at 19, it just kept me on this path of like building the success in my life, of like, my foundational principle is discipline. I'm like, I am willing to sacrifice so much for an end goal. I'm willing to sacrifice, and it's really because, and I teach my students in Freedom School, I teach, when I'm out speaking, delivering keynotes, I always say this: commitment is not a feeling, it's an agreement. See, I made an agreement with myself. And so because I'm not in my feelings about it, see, people get caught up in their feelings. That's why they get offended and can't nobody tell you nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because you in your feelings. I've made an agreement with myself. And so because of that, that commitment is no longer my feelings. It's an agreement for me to become the best version of myself. And so I'm willing to cut off. I'm willing to stake a claim. I'm willing to go the distance when other people, I'm like, in my mind, I'm always playing for overtime.
Tunnel vision. You're just focused in. Wow, that's amazing. No, thank you so much for sharing that. What would I wanted to talk about? You went to Africa. You actually went to Ghana, right? What was that journey like there? And like, because I know
it's a whole different life,
a different experience. Really, just like seeing that, especially being Africans ourselves. Like, I have never been to Africa, and you've been to Africa before. And like, what would you say is like, what was that experience like? Talk about that. I would love to hear your journey with that.
So I went on an ancestral journey, 2016. I went with the University of Georgia on a research trip. And at the time, I was still the executive director of my family's foundation. And so I was really doing some like research work on like trauma and how it affects Black families and how children develop and all this kind of stuff. But really, I was thinking I was going for everybody else, right? Yeah, I'm going to do this for, but I was really going for myself, and I went on this ancestral journey. It was led by Dr. Cynthia Dillard, who had been doing these trips, leading these trips since '94 with people to Ghana. And since that time, she built a house there. Her husband is Ghanaian. Like she has a school there. And when she did this journey for us, she kind of took us on this path from more of like the interior to the coast. So we did things that I never even knew. When I was an African American studies major in, African studies major in school, she did this thing where we went to Ascend Mansu, and it was called the last bath. I had never even known about this, right? And so it was like the last bath is where, our ancestors were on this journey for probably 10 weeks at this point, right? And then they get to this point where they get to take a bath. And this is where the first slave trade, the first auction happened. And people don't even know about that, right? The first part happened where they were leaving people behind, and that's where people, built communities there. But this last bath was like when they were shaving our ancestors' heads so they would appear younger and all this kind of stuff. And I remember standing in that water, and I couldn't even like submerge myself. Like people who I was on a trip with, they was like dousing themselves in the water. And like, I was literally like standing there shook. Literally I was tensed up because all I could do was weep. Because I'm like, damn, we don't even know the levels to the journey, right? And so by the time I got to the slave dungeon, to even experience like the church is on top of the slave dungeon, like all of this stuff that's going on. When I stood in that slave dungeon, and you see how tight it is, how compact it is, and how bodies on bodies, it changed my life. Because what I came back with the mindset was in 2016 was, I come from the people who survived that. I come from the people who made it through the last bath, who made it for months in the dungeon, and then had enough goddamn fortitude and strength and wherewithal to make it through that voyage across the Atlantic. You can't tell me what's impossible in my life.
Ooh, that is.
You can't tell me what I'm not built for. So when people see us and they see the culture, when they see places like Atlanta, when they see us forging ahead and being resilient, we should have been dead a long time ago, right? And so we come from the people who survived that. You can't tell me that I'm not great. You cannot get me to believe that I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to cuss because sometimes I do cuss, but you know what I'm saying? I don't know how y'all be doing, you know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? You can't tell me that I'm not the shit because I come from the people who survived it. You know what I'm saying? And then still made a life, and then still created life, and still made families, and still had ingenuity. Like that was the most shifting experience for me on a spiritual level, because although I had been on spiritual journeys before that, there was something I was not expecting to get what I got. And so when I got it, I came back with a different mindset. So even that year was like a setup for what was to come, because it was some shit that was about to come down the pike that it was going to hit me in the face, turn my life upside down. And so then, so I was kind of ready for it. And I didn't know that it was preparation for a time yet to come.
Wow,
that's so like amazing. And
wow. Ooh, I got goosebumps.
Yeah, I got goosebumps too.
You sharing that story, that's
and the mindset of us being unstoppable is so powerful. But a lot of people don't even know the history. They don't even know about the last bath. They don't even know this information. So I think it's super critical for everybody to do the research so we understand where we come from. We understand all the stuff that our ancestors and people like that went through in order to get here, and kind of like how people don't understand the power of like, once you know something and you see in the back of your mind, like, okay, my people I'm connected with went through that. This is nothing. Like, so what, I get a dislike, so what I hear no is never gonna stop me,
Yeah, so I have no choice but to win. Like when people kind of use these terms, like, they get it on Instagram, like I'm my ancestors' wildest dream, and they kind of say it very loosely, like, but we really are. Like, because I don't know what dream they could have been dreaming in that dungeon. I don't know what dream you could have been dreaming when you were in a, belly of a ship. You know what I'm saying? I think that comes because now that's a dream of just survival. How do I now make it out of this alive? And I think that, now we kind of forget because we only are inundated with the civil rights movement. We only, hear whites only and colored section or picking cotton and all this kind of stuff, not understanding the vast richness of our history, of our lineage, of what we come from, that we are civilization. So when we talk about we are the culture, we are more than the culture. We are like, we are the civilization. You know what I'm saying? We are the, we are the God. You know what I'm saying? We are the very embodiment of what God is. You know what I'm saying? And but that's for every human, every human.
100%. And like really like all the things that you've been doing, like it makes sense now where we see that perseverance, that resiliency. It's kind of just like I am meant to be here, like all of these awards, and it makes sense where you have that state of mind where you're just like, this is an essence of me. I am walking in that godlike manner where I'm supposed to be here. This is where I'm supposed to be. So that really goes to show. So what would be, your proudest accomplishment? I would love to know that. Like, what are you most proud of? What is your
so
most,
far? There's more to come.
Because there's so much to come. But like with what because you've accomplished so much. Yeah,
you got to pick one. You got to pick one.
You have
so
top 100 in business. You're crushing it with everything you got going on. And your journey that you're on is just so profound from just going to Africa, really discovering yourself, everything that's rooted within you. What is your most, proudest accomplishment?
My most proudest accomplishment.
She got a few. She's thinking about a couple. She said, "What should I
I mean,
pick?"
you know what? It's interesting because like I don't know. I think because I have such a different view of success, right? Or like accomplishment. I would probably say this book. I would probably say Breakthrough Sold Separately. And I say that because I think I always had this vision of writing a book. I always knew that I would, but I think the circumstances that kind of got me there to do it, to push it out, to birth it, was what I was so proud about. Because I mean, literally August 23rd, 2017, I was fired, right? And I got this, email that goes out company-wide, like, we would like to introduce a new executive director. Well, I didn't even know there was a new executive director because my ass was executive director. And so I was sitting there like, I don't even know, like, what? Like, I mean, you talk about getting hit in the face. But August 23rd, 2017, was the day I got fired. August 23rd, 2019 was the day this book went to the publisher. And I think it was just like the culmination of so much, of all these steps that I didn't know they were a part of the journey from, from going on the 2014 Millennial Trains Project on this spiritual journey all across the, northern part of the United States, to then in 2017 going on a silent meditation retreat up in Boone, North Carolina in the mountains. I think it was just all these things that kind of led me. And I felt so proud about it because I poured my heart. Like, this was really like me, like my soul on paper. Like, you're getting like journal entries, like stuff that I wrote in my personal journal in this book. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's why I was proud of it, like I was really proud. And even though, it wasn't a New York Times bestseller, but I know that it is going to hit the New York Times bestseller again. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like it's like one of those books where it's going to have like that resurgence, like, you know what I'm saying? Probably when my second book come out and it hit the New York Times bestseller, they're going to go back and be like, well, what was her first book? If this is the second book, let me go get the first book. So I feel like it's going to be one of those things, but I think it was just that moment, but then I have those moments where when my nephew is like saying, BB, I just love you, BB. It's like, it's like I had those moments, that are very much like close and intimate in my family, that make me very proud, so it just depends.
That's great, and
Thank you for sharing that.
yeah, that's super important. And I want to get into your company, Beyond Her, right? What was like, how did that start about? How did you go from, you know getting fired to just starting your own company? It's a big shift. It's a big difference.
I was out on a limb. I was out on a limb. I was trying to figure it out. It was 2017. I was like, I needed another step. What am I going to do next? I wasn't the executive director, which had been like the defining part of my career from my 20s into my 30s. I had been working at the foundation since 2009. So here we are in 2017. You know what I'm saying? So all the momentum, that I put into building, those mentoring programs, the Steve Harvey mentoring program, the Girls Who Rule the World program, including my own program. I was like, so inundated with that it gave me, a minute to like, okay, well, what am I going to do next? Like, what do I do next? But I knew it was always going to be health and wellness. I knew it was always going to be something about getting Black women in particular to take responsibility for their health, to cut the weight, let the weight go, and that weight really starts on the inside, taking responsibility and accountability for their bodies, their emotions, how you show up in the world, like you're responsible for that. And so, but the name like Beyond Her came when I was working with a company called Ampersand, who actually Beatrice, she is the one who hooked me up. We were on a panel together, and she and I got connected, and she was like, call these people. These are people that you need to work with. And they were like, we were talking about this name, and I was like, well, I just need confirmation. And when I went on a silent meditation retreat, I was reading this book. I was reading the book, The Untethered Soul. The Untethered Soul. And that was really how Beyond Her was birthed, because it was like about freedom and no boundaries and taking these limits off of your mind and your life, and that book was a life-changing book for me. And that was really how Beyond Her was birthed, and it just started off like, it really started off as like a newsletter, me writing a weekly newsletter. And then it moved to a podcast, and then it moved to a course. And then, it just kept kind of progressing. Now I'm about to do some shirts. I don't know why I didn't have a shirt on today, because you know what, I was so out of it. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, throw on something and get on this camera. I grabbed the first thing I saw.
No, they definitely gotta check it out. It's Beyond Her. Go check out their Instagram. You could find all the courses, all the information there. It's definitely like, and I really want to talk about the health and wellness, because it used to just be, before it used to just be like guys used to just focus on this, and now there's a lot of women that are leading this industry, just like yourself, and talking about the importance of your mental health. I think after the pandemic, it really became like normalized to focus on your mental health, especially for the African American community. Our mental health wasn't really a priority in our lives for such a long time, that it was just like we had the mindset of just survival, get food on the table, pay bills, and we were in this cycle that our mindset and our mental health was being held back. So I'm really, really happy and glad that your company is really solving these issues. So since you guys have started, what are some things that you've seen that's been a big issue that y'all solving right now?
So most of my students who take my course, who take Freedom School, the youngest student I've had is 33. The oldest student I've had is 73. So the majority of the women that are taking my course are honestly older than me, and it's interesting that they're like, I was a little skeptical, like, what I'm gonna learn from your little young self, like, what you gonna teach me? But honestly, from women who've gone through divorce, They've been grieving the loss of children. They've made transitions in their business, or they're starting a business. I think the most of the thing that I see is I got everything good on the outside, but it's the stuff that people can't see on the inside, right? That's keeping me stuck. And I think that what I really see, in particular with Black women, I mean, even when you look at the obesity rate, right? We're at 80 to 85% of Black women are considered to be obese. And most of that weight is not because I just can't eat right and I'm just making poor choices. A lot of that is from the trauma that they've been carrying around since they were 8, since they were 11, since they were 16, since they were 20, whatever, right? I think that just most people, and especially people of color, have been carrying around this weight, this noose around their neck, this that we haven't been able to shed because there's never been a safe space to let it go. And I think that so many of us have just been kind of keeping on to keep on. And so what I see is that, in particular with women, they just don't feel like they have a safe place to land. They really don't feel like they have a safe place to be able to kind of shed off that tough exterior or that bravado. So it's those things. But it's a lot of trauma. I think what I see is just a lot of people who have just tried to sweep their trauma under the rug, and they act like, well, you know what? If I get the Porsche, it's gonna pop. When I move into the new zip code, it's gonna pop. When I get the husband, or when I get the new title, it's gonna pop. And then it don't pop. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't hit off the way they want it to. And it's really because I got some stuff that I have not been dealing with on the inside. And I just keep covering up, on the outside with all the accoutrement, all the cute stuff, all the artifacts, you know what I'm saying? We just kind of keep putting more stuff on top of the pain that we've been trying to shield.
Yeah, and I think social media nowadays makes it worse too, because you're seeing your friend got that new promotion and they got that new car, and now like that new Bentley truck, and like you're falling behind. Yeah, and now you feel like you have to portray something to show off that you're kind of making it too, but you might be hurting on the inside. So like what would your advice be to people like that? Because a lot of our audience, they're on social media probably over 5 hours a day, like a crazy amount of their time is spent on social media, but like comparing yourself, right? So what would be some advice you would give on that aspect?
I mean, the first thing, and this is what I teach in Freedom School, the first thing is becoming intentional. I think most people are living for attention and not with intention. And so, you're kind of living for the likes and people to kind of congratulate you and say, "Ooh, job well done." But when you're living with intention, yeah, that's cool, but I'm living in a way that I'm going to show up regardless if I get it or not. If it's 5 people or 5,000 people, I'm still giving you the best that I got. The second part is I think that there has to be some radical living that takes place. And when I say radical living, I'm talking about radically forgiving yourself, right? Most people are stuck in bondage to whatever it is, right? The past, their choices, their desires, their insecurities. They're stuck because they won't forgive themselves for what they did, right? Many of us have just been carrying around the shame, the regret, the hurt, and the unforgiveness. And so it's keeping us stuck. And it's not just women, we can look at men. The other part I think is becoming mindful of your present state of life, right? Being mindful of your emotions, that this is energy and motion. And every time that energy goes out, it's got to land somewhere. So when we think that we're suppressing the energy, it's still going to land somewhere. So even when we hold those emotions in and, oh, I'm not going to say it, I ain't going to talk about it, and I don't got to cry, and I don't got to do this, the energy lands somewhere. So where does it land? It lands inside of your body. It lands inside of your organs. It's creating dis-ease in your body, right? And so now we got women who are cancer. Now you got breast cancer. Breast cancer is not hereditary. Let's stop telling people this. It's not hereditary. When we talk about this is matters of the heart. It's matters of the heart in the spirit world, right? When we talk about fibroids, we talk about all these things. And I'm one of those people. I got my hand raised because I was one of those people, because I wasn't letting the energy out, and I don't need nobody to know. And I'm really strong and I'm really tough, but that energy was landing inside of my womb. And so it was creating tumors inside of my womb. And now my creativity is stifled. And now I'm wondering why I'm not producing the way I want to, where there's some stuff that's blocking my growth and my ability to birth things into the atmosphere, right? And so when you become mindful of that energy and mindful of your emotions, you can now deal with things in a different way. But then you got to be relentless. And I think that that's where the commitment part comes in. You got to be relentless. You know, I love that book by Tim S. Grover. Relentless is one of my favorite books. I use it as a part of my teachings because there is a part of us that if we are going to stick the flag at the top of the mountain and lay a stake in the ground, there has to be a relentless fight in order to do it. And some of us, we give up so easily. We give up the first time somebody tell us no, the first time somebody say they ain't like it, the first time somebody say they ain't popping, we giving up. And so you have to have a relentless spirit. But then you got to be able to speak life over your own life. And so that's where bigger, better living comes in. So now I got to wait a minute. My life is bigger and better. So I got to use, as Florence Scovel Skien says, I got to have a wand. My word is my wand. So now I got to be able to magically see, we looking for God to be the magician. We the magician. Abracadabra your own life. Start speaking over your own life. Start speaking life over your dreams. You waiting on somebody else to motivate you, to tell you the shit, and you not telling yourself, well, how is it ever going to happen? You know what I'm saying? How are you ever going to see that dream? You waiting on somebody else to believe it. But baby, you got to believe it, because there's a miracle inside of your mouth. And so when you know that there's a miracle inside of your mouth, you will go out and be a miracle worker and stop waiting on a miracle to just show up. You got to start being saying, I'm a miracle worker. I'm a demonstrator of this life. I'm a demonstrator of God. And so therefore, I'm going out to produce a miracle. I'm not just waiting on one to happen. I'm going out so I can show you that miracles are real. And so I think that that's the progression that we get to in our lives. But that takes dedication, that takes focus, that takes you saying, no matter what you got going on and I see everybody else popping, I'm gonna keep me and my sister, we do a twin talk every week, and we be like, look, if whoever show up, that's who's showing up. We might not have thousands of people on the live every week, but when they do, baby, they're gonna get this same show. They're gonna get this same love. They're gonna get these same jokes. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna get this same vibe. They be like, man, they was doing that. They've been doing that. You know what I'm saying? This ain't new. They're not new to this. They really are true to this. And I think that that's what people have to, prepare themselves, be true to it, stay the course with it.
Wow, that's like bars on bars on bars.
I really wanted to be a rapper in my former life. You know what I'm saying? I really was like, I really could be a rapper. You know what I'm saying?
Low key, yo, you might have to add another thing to your catalog. Yep. A rapper now,
I got a spoken word. It's coming. Like when y'all get this nigga, it's gonna happen.
Hey, man,
we're looking forward to it.
Let's do it, man. I love it. So, like, talk about having a twin, right? Like, I think that's one of the dopest things. I don't have a twin, right? Talk about like you and your twin and that chemistry you have having a twin, and just the dope like energy y'all. Cause I see y'all do the twin talks. I seen it. Like y'all got that left right jab. You know what I'm saying? The chemistry, and like, how is it having a twin, especially now you both are entrepreneurs running your businesses and doing all these dope stuff, and all going to the next level and growing. Like, how is it having someone to your right hand that holds you accountable, that you can hold accountable? And I think one of the most important things is accountability, so I'll let you get into that.
Man, my sister is my best friend. Like I always be like, look, I ain't out here just on the friend hunt, like I got a friend, like, and from the womb to the tomb, we always say that, because like, that's my rider. She is my hitter, like my support system. We've made every step of the journey together. And, when she got married was when, that was the first time we didn't live together, when she got married. And people were like, oh my God, like, what are you gonna do? Like, how is your life? And I'm like, I'm so happy for her. Like, it just felt like the next progression. So it didn't ever feel like I was missing out on anything. But I think I think that's probably why my parents were never like as worried about us as they were maybe my other siblings, because they were like, they got each other. They're always going to look out for each other. And I think that that's, that's the truest testament. My sister is, she and her husband are both in the insurance business. My sister owns an insurance agency here in Atlanta. And it's so different because she's a wife and a mother and a business owner. So I think what we've learned to do as our relationship has grown over the years is we've allowed each other the space to grow. And I think it's true for any relationship, whether you're in a marriage with somebody, whether you're a partner with somebody, whether you're boyfriend and girlfriend or whatever you want to call it. When you love somebody, you give them the room to grow. When you say you really love somebody, you're going to give them the space to spread their wings and grow. And I think that that's what we've afforded each other in our relationship as sisters, is the ability to expand our wings and grow. And we're always right there whenever we need each other. We talk all day long, though. Like literally, we talk all day. Like literally, we talk all day long. She is my best friend, but there are times like when we also know that I'm a friend of her marriage, and I said this in my wedding toast. I will forever be a friend of your marriage. And so me being a friend of her marriage is like, her marriage is her marriage. You know what I'm saying? I'm an outsider on that, and so, but I love them both, and me loving them both, I'm just here to be a friend to it, love on y'all, step in if y'all need some help from me, with my nephew, or, y'all need some assistance to do something. But outside of that, I'm just a friend to just be on the outside of it, to just give some arms to love on y'all when y'all need it, and that's just the love that we have, and so she is a dynamic woman. I mean, I like her, when people be like, oh, I love her, that's my sister, like I love her, but I like her. Like, I really like her. Like, when people be like, y'all always be together, like, we really like each other. Like, we really like each other, and so I think that's just for anybody who, and I've met twins who don't like each other. And I'd be like, me and my sister be like blown away, like, damn, y'all don't talk, y'all don't. And they be like, no, like, I don't really mess with her like that, or like, we don't really talk like that. It baffles me, But I think my mom always had this prayer for us, and she always said this, and y'all parents probably might have said the same thing to y'all, if something happens to me, y'all need to be able to take care of one another. And she just always instilled that in us. And then my brother, was like, look, if something happens, y'all got to be able to love on each other and care for each other when I'm not around. And we did that, and we uphold that, but we just really like each other. And she's just, she's always been my accountability. I'm probably way more wild than her. People think that she the wild one. People think that because she just say, and she funny, and she just be like, she'll let you have it. But she is the most conservative. I be like, girl, people don't even know she's super conservative. I be like, girl, and I'm out here just flying, footloose and fancy free, flying out of town. I went to one time I went to Rome by myself, and she was at my house, and she was like, where are you staying? I was like, I don't know yet. I'm gonna just kind of figure it out. She was like, what is wrong with you? Like, Brandi, I'm a mother. I cannot deal with this. I need you to figure this out. You need an itinerary, So she's more like that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that because we travel a lot too, and we did that. I think when we went to where did we go? Mexico one time, and like we were just last minute booking an Airbnb like when we got there because our other one canceled on us last minute. We didn't even panic. Most people would be like going crazy, like, oh my gosh, it like canceled. I can't wait, I can't get off the plane, And it's like it's a part of life. Sometimes you just gotta really live in the moment. You know what I'm saying? And
that's when you find the biggest joy, you know, and I have the best times and I meet the best people is when I'm just like open, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm open to the process. Like I'm, you know, and I'm discerning. I'm very discerning, you know, and I'm, you know, on guard and, you know, all that kind of stuff, you know, when I need to be. But it's just the world is so beautiful. And we end up missing so many opportunities because we're so scared to just step out there and just live, you know? And I just don't be afraid to live. Like, you know, I'm gonna go for it.
You know, you travel a lot. How often do you like? What's your favorite country you've been to?
Now, first of all, pre-pandemic, I was platinum, you know what I'm saying? Platinum status with my Delta Sky Miles, you know what I'm saying? I'm always getting an upgrade. I don't have to buy first class. They're gonna upgrade me, okay? Now, listen, they be like, get in line, girl. They be like, get in line, get your Comfort Plus, honey, and get on in line, you know. My favorite place in the States is Arizona and New Mexico. Those are like my favorite places in the States. And my favorite place out the country thus far is the Amalfi Coast in Italy. That's like actually like it. I just had one of the best times of my life there. Like, I mean, just really enjoyed it. Yeah, those are.
That's amazing.
I traveled so many different places. You know, still so many to go, but like.
Yeah. I think this year is like the first. Yeah, this is like the first normal summer. So like I'm trying to like I haven't been to Asia yet, so I'm trying to go to Asia. Yeah, I've been to UK a lot, you know. I've been to the Europe a lot, but like I really want to go to Asia, you know. I want to check out Japan, I want to check out India. Oh, crazy story. So 2 years ago,
Yeah, but just before the pandemic.
like I'm talking about like the day that COVID, like a day before COVID happened. We were at New York. We flew to New York. We live in Minnesota right now. So we flew to New York. We're about to take a flight from New York to Mumbai, India. The craziest, like you won't, no one would believe this story. It's so crazy. The pilot flew from China. The flight before he flew from China came to America. They said he can't fly us back, and he took like a rest day. He was ready to fly. They say he can't fly back because he came from China.
And the president called that flight, the Delta, and said, "Hey, it's not flying.
It's not going to India
Yeah,
because this pilot came from China to back to America." Yeah. And they stopped all flights coming to America from China, and they like isolated him. And this is, you know, this happened 5 minutes before we're boarding. They're boarding people, like 8 people already went in. Yeah. So we out here getting ready our boarding passes. I got my visa. I'm happy. I'm like, we're going to India. Yo, check out, we're going to India. I'm out here going live, letting everybody know we're going to India. We coming to India. Next thing you find out, they say, nope, none of y'all going nowhere. Y'all gotta stay.
We were bummed.
I'm like, yo, wait, I'm gonna get back to y'all. Wait. I'm gonna update y'all. Yeah.
That was we never went before since.
Yeah, and the crazy part is we literally had a visa that like we expedited, everything was ready, and just the power of just them saying like, no, y'all can't go. And this was at like 11 p.m. So they got us a hotel for the night and everything, but it was wild, you know. Yeah. But like honestly, that's my favorite thing is traveling, you know, like the world is so big, and like we haven't like. Until you see more of the world, then your mind expands every time. You know, your mind expands every time. Like you said, when you went to Ghana, it changed your whole perspective because that's a whole different side of the world, and like they live different, you know, and those people are just grateful for the smallest things like water, having clean water, you know, like, and us, that's like nothing we even think about. We don't worry about having clean water, you know, but like some people, they're just grateful for the small things.
Yeah, it's big. I'm telling you, like your story is amazing. Thank you so much. Like,
and and a few more things before we wrap up. I wanted to talk about your what's it called? So yeah, what is it like being like the family spotlight, right? Your family's always on the spotlight. You guys are like, does it sometimes you want your privacy, you know? Like I know you're on Instagram all the time, but the spotlight's always on you and your family.
Kind of remain very like low key. So I think maybe because, you know, My dad's been on television since I was in elementary school. Now I want people to know that does not translate into money. You know what I'm saying? Just because you see people on TV, that does not mean that they're rich. Okay. You know, but my father's been on television, so I will say, like, growing up, it was very difficult. It was very difficult for my sister and I, because once my parents got a divorce, it was like I didn't have really a relationship with my dad. And so that became really difficult, and as his like fame and success grew and he was on like, doing television shows and stuff, I really didn't see him, outside of television. And so it became, it was kind of hard to you know, kind of manage that, and it created a lot of stuff in my own life, a lot of insecurities, a lot of things that, I had to later deal with. So now I think it's just, I mean, I'm almost 40 years old. I'll be 40 years old. And so, and I'm the firstborn. So I look at it like my life is my life. You know what I'm saying? Like I live here in Atlanta. I roll around. I go to the gym. I go do my little thing. I hang out with my folks. I go out to eat. Like I just have my own, tribe of people and kind of like my own world. So, I don't really look at my life as being like in the spotlight, like how some people might think it is. I feel like, and I'm not going to ever say that my life is regular or average because it's not,
Yeah.
but I will say that I just created my own ecosystem. I've created my own life, where, that's not really something that fuels me. I'm fueled by good energy, by positive people. I'm fueled by being around people. I don't care who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been meeting celebrities and being around people my entire life. Are you a good person? Like I don't really care like how many Instagram followers or how many blue checks or whatever. Like I just want to be around good people, and I just want people to know that I'm a good person, like I want people to be like, what, every time I see her, but I fucks with her heavy because she legit. Like she show up and she legit. I get down with her because she a vibe, like I want it to be that, so I mean, it's cool, I guess. I don't know if I answered the question, but I think it's just, I just live my life in Brandi, I can't live for like other people. Everybody gonna do what they want to do, so I just kind of live like, hey, this is
No,
life, and make my life the best.
No, and that's super super dope because like even though like you have a big family and like all this, you still were able to start like your own business. You still were able to do like, let's get into the motivational speaking. You know what I'm saying? You were on stages. Like first of all, you was at Princeton. I seen you was at speaking at Princeton, and like that's like the number one college in the world. You know what I'm saying?
University, I've been doing that. There's a leadership conference for Black girls called At the Well. It's for high school students that takes place 2 weeks out of every summer at Princeton University. I am the only speaker that has been asked to come back for the last 12 years.
wow.
And, I look at that as like a testament of, you know, the work, but the fact that I can resonate with teenage girls, even as I get older, and I've been doing it since I was in my 20s, that I can still, that they still like, she get down with us, like she know what's up. But Princeton University, I mean, Harvard Business School, I've had the opportunity to do some really the United States White House. I've had some opportunities to speak on some really great stages. But I will say like my favorite things, like when I do stuff for young people, like those are my favorite things to do. Like I'm kind of even in this space right now, like I'll like people do, of course I get paid to do this, but those are those things where I'll be like, that's a pro bono thing for me because that's my way of giving back. That's my way of, of showing up. for them, because I knew how important it was when I saw people who came back to my high school and came back to my middle school. I tell the story all the time. Judge Lynn Toller, she has a television show. She's one on the Judge show, Judge Lynn Toller. She's on, the People's Court, or, one of the judge shows, Divorce Court, I can't remember, but she was a judge in Cleveland Heights, Ohio, where I went to school. And she came to visit our 7th grade class. And I just remembered how classy she was. And she was like the epitome of everything I wanted to be when I was in the 7th grade. I'm like, she cold. Like, I want to be like her. And to see her now, and to see her, like, when her clips go viral on the internet of her, like, making these rulings and talking to people who come in the courtroom, I'm like, she was that way when I saw her in 7th grade, and I want people to, have that same, view of me. Like, dang, she came to my high school to speak at career day when I was in 10th grade, and I knew, or she came, I think those are the ones that are the most meaningful for me out of all the stages that I've been on. And I've been on some fantastic stages. A lot of times now I do a lot of retreats. So I'm more of like the person they bring in for retreats, but and wellness events and all that kind of stuff. Those are the things, those intimate things are like the things that I'm like, that's the bomb right there.
Like, that's the bomb. Yeah, man. So like what's like next? And one thing, first of all, I want to commend you on, in all those awards we named, they all happened, most of them happened 2018 and 2019, a year right after you got let go from your job, the director role. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. That's like within it, like you came not playing. You like, I'm not playing. I'm about to go off,
Well, you know what? That's just a God thing. That's really just a God thing, because there are moments when you were at your point. That's just God, like, giving you like the wink, the push to say the best is yet to come. Just keep going. And I think that that's why people end up, that stuff comes to me and I'll be like, cool. But it's really just God saying, keep going. Because I'll get these emails with these people want to do stuff with me, and I'll be like, it'd be at such a moment when I'm like, if this don't just, and then I get an email and be like, this guy, like, keep going. It's just keep going, keep applying the pressure, keep giving yourself some grace. Like, that year was like crazy for me. And of course, like, that was like all this momentum that took off. And then like the book came out and I was on this whole whirlwind, and COVID hit. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, change of plans. You know what I'm saying? But it was cool because it's given me an opportunity to step back, reevaluate. I'm doing a rebrand right now with Beyond Her. And so all of that is just like, I'm just reimagining. I think it just gives me an opportunity every single time. It's not about reinventing. I think people always looking at, I'm gonna reinvent myself. You don't have to reinvent. Like, the invention is solid. Just reimagine what it looks like. You know what I'm saying? Let me reimagine it. Let me use my imagination. Let me reimagine what my life can look like. And I'm going to go after that. You know what I'm saying? I think that that's just what the space that I'm in, all the time, So I'm really happy. Like, I don't even know how to like explain it. I'm just in such a good place, like. And this year really came to like mollywop me upside the head. Like, I literally was like the last 6 months of 2021, baby, I was like, really? It just came to just mollywop me upside the head. Just some traumatic things happened to me. It was just like financially things just were like hitting. And I was just like, yo, how am I gonna get up out of this? And it was like literally God like sends a miracle one day, and you're like, I cannot make this up. My life is a movie. I tell people all the time, be like, I can't make it up. My life is a movie.
You might need a Brandi movie soon.
I'm telling you, it's like the stuff that people like, because people don't even know to have. Because I mean, I put stuff on social media, but I have a very like private life, so you're not gonna get a lot of things. I'll be sitting there like, I'll be at some places and I'll be seeing people with their phones out, and I'm just there in the moment. Like, I just want to take it all in. And so that's kind of why it gets hard for me, like, like that influencer thing, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, I I saw that they was all recording. They got good pictures. Like, dang, they got a good video. I was there, you know what I'm saying? But I was just taking it all in. I was just observing it for another time, you know what I'm saying? That I might have to tell the story, and I needed my ears and my eyes to be open to it.
Yeah, I feel like I used to struggle with that, but now I try to enjoy in the moment. Like everything used to be like before you even see it, your camera sees it first. Then it's like you gotta like just be in the moment. You know what I'm saying? Just enjoy the moment.
Me and my sister we were at the Maxwell concert on Saturday, and we were talking about on our twin talk last night, and she said, I mean, yeah, y'all didn't know we was at the concert, but we was there. We just didn't post it. I was like, because we was really just in the moment. We was just like having a good time with each other, like, because we used that time as like our sister time, and like this our time, like her husband's not there, my friend, he ain't there, you know what I'm saying? Like her son is not there, so it's like this is our time. And so we just really enjoy it. So just be present. I think that's where so many people lose out in this season of their life, because they are so busy trying to capture a moment so somebody can see that they were there, that you got to recognize, why are you here? Like, take the moment for yourself. You know what I'm saying? What am I supposed to learn from this? What am I supposed to gain from this? Like, who am I supposed to connect with? But we can't connect because we always like, oh, wait, they got to know I was there. If I ain't on the gram, it ain't real. No, it's real. It's real. It's real. It really is real.
It's real. You in the moment. Yeah, so before we wrap up, what's like next for you? What's your next chapter? Like, I know you rebranded Beyond Her. Like, what are some upcoming things people should look forward to? Stay tuned for. Is there anything you want to share here? Some
Oh
pre-launch?
yeah. I mean, I always got irons in the fire. I'm working on my second book right now. So my second book is in the works. I've been working on it for a year and a half now, almost 2 years. It's been a year and a half that I've been working on my second book. I am going to be the new host of the American Legacy Challenge, which is a Black History game show for high school students to win scholarships. So I'm going to be hosting that. That's coming up next year, in this next year. I am going to be in a romantic comedy that's going to be filming in the UK called Finding Forever. That's going to be filming in this next year. So, I mean, I got stuff going on, and I'm just, I'm moving, sometimes I'm moving in silence, and just, it's all happening. But I think probably like, and then the rebrand of Beyond Her is gonna include like the relaunch of Freedom School. And I got some shirts and merchandise that's gonna be being launched, the Eat Well, Give a Damn, Move Your Body sweatshirts and shirts and stuff. And so it's just some good stuff coming down the pike. I'm really excited. I'm in such a great place, I'm in a really great place.
Wow.
Blessing.
Yeah, it's so much stuff to look forward to, like UK, that's my spot. That's like my favorite country to go to. So you're gonna have a good time there when you're shooting out there, They got
I was like, when that got presented to me, I was literally like, I had to read the email like a couple times, like
you like, hold on, they want me in UK? Okay.
confused, like, y'all want me to be in a movie? Like, okay. So I read the script, and the director is a friend of mine. And this is how, and this is really for your audience, how important relationships are. Like, your greatest currency is your relationships. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care what you say you got. I don't care what credentials you say you got. If you cannot build and sustain relationships, you are nothing. And this movie came to me off of the strength of I met this girl. We were speaking together at NYU in Florence, Italy. We were speaking at NYU in Florence, Italy back in like 2015. And I have not seen this girl since then. We've kind of just talked on social and emails and that kind of stuff since then, but we haven't like, like hung out like that's my girl. But just off of the relationship, the click that we got when we first met each other and just how we showed up and all this kind of stuff, like that was how it came to me, and, you know, those are the things that I cherish about my life is that I've been able to build relationships that I can pick up the phone and call people and be like, right, I think I know somebody over there. Let me call them. And they can, or when people run into me, they like, what's up? And they happy to see me. I think we got this idea in this culture of just like, gimme, gimme, gimme. I want, I want, I want. I'm gonna take, I'm gonna take, I'm gonna take. But what are you willing to give? Like, like, what are you willing to give? Who are you willing to serve? How are you willing to show up in this season? And it's, I tell people now when people be sitting up here talking all this hater talk and, oh, all the haters and they all talking about me, I literally have now taken my thing. I don't have haters. I really am out here. I don't have enemies. I'm really just out here making friends because there's so much more that I can get done if I got friends than I got enemies. I'm not thinking about making no enemies. I'm only thinking about how can I make some friends? How can I be a friend? Like that's really like how I'm showing up in this season of like, how can I be a friend? How can I make friends? Because that's the only way I'm gonna win in my life. You know what I'm saying? Who want to be out somewhere and you looking over your shoulder like, yeah, they after me. Who? I don't want to be out with nobody and he's sitting at the table talking about, yeah, they after me. Who? Baby, because I can't get here. Okay? How did they get here? Nobody's supposed to be here, in the words of Deborah Cox. Like, I'm literally sitting up here like, I don't want to be here. If you got people after you, I cannot be around you. You know what I'm saying? I want people when you walk in, everybody show me love. What's the song? When I walk, everybody give me that. Everybody show me love. Like that's how I want, my life to be. It's like, dang, but she cool. Like, what's up? Like, even if you don't know me, you're gonna be like, I heard about her. She cool. So that's what I want. I'm just building friends. I'm just really out here just trying to make friends, win friends and influence. What's that Dale Carnegie book? What's that? They got a whole book on it. You know what I'm saying? They wrote a whole book about it, like how to win friends and influence other people. Like, go do that. You know what I'm saying? I think we so busy trying to make a hater. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to make a hater. I want to make a friend. Like, I want to make friends. Like, call me a Girl Scout. Like, I've been a Girl Scout, like, I want to make friends. So that's the thing, and just building relationships and loving on the people in the time that I'm supposed to love and releasing them when it's time to let them go.
That's powerful. And I think too often people just get caught up with just like trying to impress others or trying to like like I got enemies after me, all that. Just be a good person, just be a genuine soul, just like really like you don't have to fake it and you don't have to try to put on a persona and all this kind of stuff to really win friends and influence others. Like, you could just be yourself. And
I mean, I see this with my nephew. I see this with my nephew. He's just out here thriving, 5 years old, just out here on some like G-code stuff, just out here just thriving. I just be like, I just got to smile every time I see him because he is so confident and so self-assured. You know what I'm saying? And that also is the testament to his parents because they pour into him and they love on him. And, but just to see him, I be like, he pumps me up because I look at him and I'm like, he walk in a room like he's 5. And I just be like he owns it. Like, he came with the other day in his class presentation and like brought his crew up to us. Like, this my friend, this Jack, this my, I said, oh, this the crew. He was like, yeah, this the crew. I was like, oh, like he's proud of his people. Like, this my mom, this my dad, this my auntie, So, I think that's just the beauty of what, he's such a teacher for me, and how to be and how to show up, and just bringing that energy, like, just bring positive energy, and don't get me wrong. It's so many times I be having now I can get an attitude now real quick, right? You know what I'm saying? The mouth gets slick, but it's times when I know like if I'm about to walk in somewhere and I know like
You see
maybe
the
I
vibe.
had a conversation, you know what I'm saying, or like something got tough, or I'm like in a mood, I literally talk to myself and I'm like, you are a nice person. Show up as a nice person. You are a good person. Be kind, be gentle, be a good person. Like I literally, before I walk into places, I'm literally reminding myself of who I am. Like I'm a good part. You are a good person. You a nice person. Be that, when you walk in here, because we have a choice in the matter. Like that's the thing. We always have a choice. Stop acting like life just throwing shit at you. No, you have a choice in the matter. You get to choose how you're gonna be, no matter what comes at me. I still get to choose how I show up. No matter what somebody said to me, I still get to choose how I'm going to be towards them or how I'm going to be towards the next person because of what dominoed down in my life. I get to choose. And I think that that's what, be accountable for everything, but you get to choose how you show up. And I really have made a choice in this season of my life because I didn't always make that choice. I was showing up with a nasty attitude. I was letting everything I had. Oh, I was one of those people who said I didn't have no filter. Oh, I don't have no filter. I just say whatever. You better get one. Okay. You better funnel some of this foolishness out so you can win. I think that's the part, that I've had to change, change myself in that way to become this. I was not always this. I'm only speaking to you from a place of because I've been there. I was showing up with the nasty attitude. I wasn't being a nice person. I thought I had to have this masculine bravado. I thought I had to be all this rah-rah in order to get what I wanted. No, be you. Be a nice person. Smile at people. Be kind. Show up. And guess what? People are going to receive that and they're going to love that because that's the best of you. See, we looking around for, I'm just showing up as the best of me. So I get the best of you. And if that ain't what you got, then okay, I can move on to somebody else who want to give me the best of them because I'm giving them the
Wow.
Wow. And it's like honestly like you're it's our first time meeting and I feel the energy like we could be friends forever,
Yep.
And just like
good.
and it's just like I always say this, it's like your attitude towards everything, the way you do anything is the way you do everything. You can't go in a big meeting all nice and all happy then like talk to your worker with disrespect, like it doesn't, though. You have to treat everybody the same, as you were mentioning earlier, no matter like what level they're at, no matter what they have. Like you don't seen the biggest stars, you don't been around the biggest people, but you still treat everybody the same, and that speaks highly of you, and that really says a lot about your personality and the type of person you are. And that's how you're able to still get all these blessings no matter what comes towards you. All these blessings are still hitting you, with every bad there's.
They chasing me down and I'm letting them, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna let them catch me. Like my blessings are really like chasing me down, like I'm like, come on, catch me. You know what I'm saying? I'm here. I'm ready for it. And I think that I attribute all of that to my parents. I really do. Even in the times of the abandonment that I felt, when my father wasn't a part of my life, to be able to understand where he was in his life, the where my mother was in her life, and I think that, but what they instilled in me was to be a good person because they are really great people. You know what I'm saying? Like my mother gets love everywhere she go. Like I was literally like, people be like, I know your mother, and I'll be like, she that, like she is all of that. She is the nicest, most kind, biggest heart person you will ever meet. And my father is the same way. I think that, they gave me the best of them. And so because of that, I can go out here and soar, I can just win. And I'm just reminded, of how they show up, and people like, they love them, I mean, of course, like people know, everybody knows my dad and people don't know who my mom is. But, my dad, I'd be like, Lord, he like the Black Messiah child. They be the way they be trying to, they be trying to listen. They be like, that's the Black Messiah sometimes.
That's the black. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie. One thing, like if I'm ever feeling lazy or anything, I just turn on that Steve Harvey clip. Rich people don't sleep 8 hours a day. You can't be sleeping. I'm like, yo, I gotta get out of bed.
Like, sometimes he just, I when people like I was at an event here in Atlanta the other night, and everybody up on the panel they were first time entrepreneurs, like for the first time, like many of them were like first time in their family, they started a business, first time going to college, first timers, And the one girl said on the panel, like, none of us had a blueprint, of success. And I can honestly say, I think that's probably why I have a very warped idea of success. Because when you see somebody up close achieve so much, you're constantly looking at yourself like, well, I mean, come on now, that ain't really that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that really ain't all that. You know what I'm saying? I kind of see some big boy stuff happening, but the gratitude, but my gratitude game. I am so grateful for the life that I've been afforded. I'm so grateful for the blessings that been bestowed and the doors that get open because of who my father is. Like my dad's name is heavy. It's heavy in these streets, you know what I'm saying? Or in these global streets, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm grateful for that.
Global.
So, that's the part that people don't understand. I have so much gratitude for what has been afforded to me, whether I've taken advantage of certain things or not. My life is still very much a reflection of the doors that have been open for me and the shoulders that I stand on, like some big shoulders,
Yeah, and honestly, like one, I want to give you big credit because like there's a lot of kids that have their parents are ultra successful, but like they just take a whole different route. They think they could be lazy because their parents are like, oh, but you're still like going at it. You still, are starting your own businesses. So like, how much has your dad taught you of ownership? Starting your own thing, having ownership. Making sure it's like in your name.
Because I love what he said. I love what he said with one of the videos where he was like, you can't tell a big dream to a small mind. And
Yeah.
it's just like he's instilled that in us. Even just we've watched his content and seen that, and just like he's very adamant about that. And like that's really powerful to see. Like you're living in that light of being you, and you've created your own journey. You've laid down your own stones, and like just see the accomplishments of what you've accomplished is admirable and inspiring. So it's awesome. It's really amazing to see that.
At 17, my dad gave me the book. He told me to go read the book, The Magic of Thinking Big. And at 17 years old, that was kind of when that like nugget, got dropped, The Magic of Thinking Big. And it was really because like he was asking me and my sister like what kind of car we wanted. And I was in Cleveland, Ohio. I went to public high school at Cleveland Heights High School. So I wasn't seeing kids that was driving Benz, I'm saying, like it was like a Chrysler Sebring. That was the hottest car, you know what I'm saying? Like when I was where I was, you know what I'm saying? Infinity, like you was balling, And so I remember, like saying the kind of car, and he was like, okay, so what if somebody asked you like what you wanted, like why wouldn't you just say what you want? Mm-hmm. And in that moment, I just thought, well, you kind of do this like baseline kind of like ask, because everybody around me at that time, and you got to understand the context, I really wasn't around my father. You know what I'm saying? So our interactions were very limited at that time, and so I really didn't have them. I wasn't around him to have a different mindset. And so when I was around, because you are the company you keep, you're the sum of the people that you hang around. And so the sum of my existence was Chrysler Sebring. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, but what if if I would have asked you what you wanted, you would have got a Benz. I'm like, well, shit, I didn't even know nobody who had a Benz at that point. You know what I'm saying? So the magic of thinking big was the shift of me starting to say, oh, I could just ask for it. Like I could like start actually saying what I want and I don't have to play myself short. So I think that was probably like one of those first kind of jewels that, you know, my father gave me to kind of put in my, you know, into my cup to say, okay, let me go out here and start having a different belief system, you know. And then, like I told you at 19, you know, it was that part of him shifting how I was thinking about my body, my physical health, you know, so that was a shift. I think that there's just been all these different moments along the way that he's, you know, in working for him though, I will say, like in the years of working for him, and I was probably like the longest, the child who worked for him the longest, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that was a different beast, you know, because I worked on every, you know, mostly all the production. So I worked at one point, I tried to do a stint on a, you know, working with the radio, but child, you had to get there at 5:15 every morning. I was struggling. Struggle bus, okay. Then it was, but I was, you know, at the foundation, and then I found a love with production with when we used to produce the Hoodie Awards. And so for years, I ran all the tickets, VIP seating for the award show, for all the things that we did. And the work ethic, you know, and the things that I learned in working for my dad and Rashawn McDonald changed my life. Like it changed my life because you are seeing people who are going when they don't want to go. They are doing when they don't want to do. And they're out here because there are so many people that are they're responsible for. Like that changed the game for me. And I think like when you can see that there are people who are getting up every single day, not because they necessarily want to today, it's because I got 300 people that's waiting on me to make sure that I get up because their livelihood depends on that. That's a game changer. You know, it changes how you shift and show up, you know. And I was afforded opportunities to work in production and do things, which also led to me doing like seating for like BT hip hop awards, all these things that people don't know that I've done in my career. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, my resume, if I was really to actually write it, I mean, it's pretty extensive. But it was because I got afforded those opportunities to work with my dad and his business partner at the time, Rashawn McDonald, who taught me so much about how you show up in the world. And they just, man, I mean, literally, me and my sister were just talking about this. Like, I don't want to ramble because I feel like I'm like,
oh, we're good, we're good.
you know, but I mean, honestly, like, me and my sister were just talking about, like, man, you talk about a training ground that we had, like the training ground between the Hoodie Awards, the Neighborhood Awards, the Steve Harvey Mentoring Camp, like all of those things that we used to do that moved so many people and changed so many people's lives. Like I could like, I could write a book on that alone because we got, and we were young doing this stuff. We like in our 20s and early 30s, like, you know what I'm saying? But in our 20s, like doing stuff that our friends was not doing. Like, I mean, no way, no how. But man, we got the game. You know, we really got the game.
That's so amazing. Like I didn't even really know that you were doing all that production stuff behind
Oh man, what award show production? Like, I mean, the Neighborhood Award, the Hoodie Awards was probably my favorite event outside of the mentoring camp that we used to do, just because the amount of people and just the impact of these small businesses, you know, the small businesses who were celebrated and getting their awards from celebrities. That was those were like my favorite times because these people, best church, best fried chicken, best reels, best church choir. Like these are people from all around the country who are getting voted on a nationally syndicated radio show. And those top finalists get to come dress up and walk up on the stage and get an award. And we got a hand in that. Man, that's a game changer. Those people's businesses expanded 300 and 400% because of that. Like that's an impact that you can't even you can't encapsulate that into words. And the relationships I built because of that, because of me showing up and my own work ethic behind those events, you know, it was life changing. Yeah, really life changing.
That's so like amazing. Like there's like go on for days of like how many layers every time we're getting to know more, you know. So
man, listen, I tell people all the time, I said, you know, I'm like, I'm one of those people who they're gonna be like, she did it all. You know, like she did it all. Y'all probably had to wait for the memoir, you know, to come out to know all the stuff that I did, you know, many years from now. But, you know, like, I mean, I've just been so grateful. I really am so grateful for the opportunities that I've gotten and the friends, like the relationships that I built because of it. But man, we had some crazy times, man. We used to do them award shows in Vegas. Like we had crazy times, 10-day productions and no sleep and everything in between. Like just really great times. Really great times.
That's like amazing, you know, and especially like so many people, like even me, production like always interests me because it's like you see this one final, like what we see on TV is like the final product, but there's like so many layers between makeup artists to people that the stylist to the people that set the floor to the people that have to clean to it's like
3, 2,
hundreds
1,
of people that like you never get to see, but like we're just seeing this final perfect product on TV and we just think that's it, you know. So that always like interested me, and that would
people used to be like, wait, well, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I do all the seating, you know, like I do all the seating and all the tickets. And they'll be like, oh, okay. Like, I guess people like think that's like handing out, you just handing out tickets. Like, no, that's like, you're like with the box office, you know, I mean, you're promoting. I mean, you have all these things and you're placing for the show. So the camera sees, everything is on you. Like any moving part that goes, I know exactly where everybody is in that arena. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just like, you know, those were times that just like, it challenged me. I'm not even gonna lie, this one time we were at Mandalay Bay. We were doing the neighborhood awards. And I managed like all the VIPs, all of our sponsors, everybody who came through, you know, for tickets through, who sponsored the event, to everything, the attendees, awardees or whatever. Y'all, I had like this blown up seating chart that I would place everybody, move people around in the pre-production. And then the tickets, I would coordinate and give those tickets out. It was 10:45 at night in Las Vegas. Tickets had already started going out. I go through with the box office. I said, I'm having a issue with these tickets. Like I can't, like there's some missing tickets. Come to find out, the arena had changed the layout. I was working on the arena layout from last year. So it is 10:45 at night. We are about to like arrivals tomorrow. Like all of this is going down. And I have to now get everybody to bring every ticket that's been issued out, got to come back in this room. I have to reconfigure the whole thing. Like I remember, like I literally sat there and like tears are welling up in my eyes. And Rashawn, I will never forget this. He said, everybody get out of this room because she need a minute. She need a minute. And I had to reconfigure at 10:45 at night. I mean, everybody was looking at me like, yo, this is the craziest thing. I mean, it was so wild. And I think you would probably have to have been there. But that moment, like, of me having to switch gears and like really talk to myself in the moment, like, okay, go. I mean, literally, I'm like, okay, I need those back. I need those back. I need those back. I need those back. What you mean? I already gave them. Go get them back. Like, go get them back. Go get them back. Go get them back. And I just remember, like, I literally sat up in there and I was like, I mean, tears were coming in my face because I'm like, all this work that you've been doing and it literally just blew up in smoke and you got to start over. Those are those moments that it's like, those are those moments that shift you into the next level. Those are the moments that say, there's nothing you can throw at me that I cannot do. And it's like, I mean, from that to the mentoring camp, to all the things that I used to do with those productions, it made me who I am. And it gave me such an eye, you know, and I have such an eye for detail, but I also have an eye for perfection. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to do it right. We're going to be the best at it if we're going to do it.
That pressure,
That's crazy though. No, like that's like anxiety to a whole nother level. Like
they weren't doing no CBD back then. Not no CBD. Okay.
They had to, hey, you had to thug it out back then. You had to fight through it.
You had to take all types of.
Listen, it wasn't no gummies, okay?
Oh my goodness.
Listen, and it was just like, I literally was just having this conversation with my sister. Like, man, I remember Benny Pugh, who used to be a executive at I want to say Def Jam, and he was promoing Neo's album. He came down to the radio. He came down to the radio network down here in Atlanta. And I remember him saying to us in the room, he said, if you're ever looking for an executive or like some strong talent, he said, you got to come down here to Atlanta to get it. He said, because y'all have a training ground that's like no other, because there are positions that you all have been put in that Black folks, that young Black people are not getting in New York and LA. Y'all are being put into position, and y'all have a different, especially like when you work for a lot of times Black companies who may not have all the resources that some of the other, y'all are finding a way. Y'all are finding a way and making a way. And I think that that's what, you know, people don't know about even starting the business of like the Steve Harvey Global, the mentoring programs, all the things that we did. Like, we were just finding a way. Like, we were just finding a way to make it happen. Like, we're just 26 years old, finding a way, 28 years old out here. Like, we don't know, like, we about to figure this out though, like, you know, and make it shake, you know, and that's what we did. And so, and I just remember him always, and that stuck with me, like, the training ground that you all have here as Black executives, as people of color who are making headway in entertainment, like, it's unmatched. And if I'm coming down here to look for talent, I'm coming to Atlanta. And I think that that's what Atlanta did for me. Atlanta grew me the hell up. Atlanta grew me up, and it helped me find my voice. Atlanta helped me find my voice. This is why Atlanta will always be home for me, you know, because it helped me find my voice. And I found my tribe. I found my rhythm. I found my groove here in Atlanta. Yeah.
Atlanta seems to be like the new Black Hollywood, you know?
Man, it is. When people say that they don't like it, they come down here, I'm like, you just ain't found your tribe. Like, once you find your tribe, you're going to be straight. Like, you know, once you find your people that you mesh with and your vibe, it's something for everybody here, whatever you want.
Yeah.
We would consider moving out there too as well. Like, especially like we've been down there a lot of times, and it's just the connections, the networking, everything is just amazing. Like, it's like everybody knows everybody. Like, it's just, and it's such a small, tight knit, and it's just the relationships you get out of that city is just amazing. So we're definitely gonna, you know, make that move.
You work it, you know.
100%.
And I, like, when I first moved here, I hated it. I moved here from LA, and I was like, I moved back to LA. Like, I don't want to be here. Da, 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 da. Bro, Brandi, she gonna move back to LA. Then once I found my tribe, I found the people that I vibe with and I connected with, and I found like my purpose being here. Man,
it was a wrap.
I just took off. And that's why now I'm like, now I always have a home here. Now I have a home other places. But my main base gonna be Atlanta. I love Atlanta. You know, I'm one of those people, like, I've been here almost as long, you know, I've been here almost 15 years. So, you know, that's pretty much almost longer than I've been in, you know, I lived in Cleveland, you know, so this really feels like home for me.
No, we definitely got to do like we're probably gonna do an event out there. We have like an annual growth conference that we host every year. It's happening here again in Minnesota this year, but we're probably gonna do it in Atlanta next year for sure.
For sure.
Listen, Minnesota in the summer, right?
Yeah.
Not in the cold.
Yeah, in the summer. We
only time I've been to Minnesota was in the summer.
Oh,
Yep.
you got to come back. We'll figure out a way to if you could speak at the conference or something. See your availability.
Part of the United States. So I love it. Now I don't like
See
y'all
that
winter, but
the summer.
summer, y'all got me. Like I will definitely be there in the summer.
And
That,
you're from the Midwest, so like the culture of like
you
we're
used to
known
the
as
cold,
Minnesota
yeah,
nice, and
but
even
not Minnesota. She ain't used to like Minnesota cold, but
yeah.
And Cleveland is cold and this lake effect snow. So it's very like windy and like super snowy, but I very rarely get to Cleveland. I have not been to Cleveland probably not, well, I went I think one day last year. I flew in one day last year, but I'm like a once, twice a year Cleveland.
yeah, you're more of an Atlanta, LA lifestyle now.
I'm more of like in Atlanta, Florida, like that kind of Miami, Fort Lauderdale, kind of vibe. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. LA, it's not really my thing.
LA is
Yeah,
too crowded.
LA
It's just
is
way too crowded. Miami is a lot much more warmer weather. The weather is amazing there, and it's just like the people are a lot more diverse. And the thing is, it's just like, especially North Hollywood, those areas like we go there all the time. We actually one of our mentors owns property out in there, and we just go there all the time and enjoy the great weather. So
I'm not a fan of LA, man.
LA
is
is
just too
it's too
too
crowded.
dirty a little bit too.
Yeah, and it's
There's
just
a
like
lot going.
I love the South, y'all. Like I love the South. Like when Andre 3000 was at the Source of Royals talking about the South got something to say. Like
Yeah.
I really love the South. And I think like once I kind of like set roots here, like I like country stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want to go to the woods. I want to shoot some guns. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to
Some country stuff.
I want to go do like some country stuff too. So I want to have that, like easily available to me. And I know California definitely has the country. I mean, it definitely got anything that you want. You got ocean, you got mountains, you got desert. But it's just something about the people of the South, it's just something about the people, the vibe, the energy. Everybody just so nice. I go other places, I'm like, what do people just mean? Like, why
everybody's
they
just
don't want to speak? Why y'all just can't say hi? Like, what's up? Like, what's
Nah,
going on?
what's
I
up?
love the
Don't be-
South. It's such a vibe for me here, But Atlanta, it's just nothing like Atlanta. I feel like I done got my peach, y'all. I feel like I got my peach.
She got the peach, yeah. What Justin Bieber say? He said, "I got my peaches out in Georgia."
But it's just a vibe. It's just a different way of life, and I really enjoy it. And Atlanta's just like family for me, because like even when you see people out, like you see all kind of celebrities out here. Atlanta's one of those places. Everybody just let you be. Ain't nobody.
Everybody let you vibe. Yeah.
yeah.
People just let people, vibe, and it's super cool. And, we're not at that place where it's like paparazzi or you being,
See, that's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing about Atlanta and some of these down south places. There's respect there. Like,
Yo.
bro, like in LA, I feel like celebrities can't even eat out because they're like, there's cameras. They somehow they just appear. They're not there 1 second, next second paparazzi everywhere in their face while they're eating with their family.
Nice.
I feel like that'll
be
get
okay
annoying
with
and
that.
stuff.
You got to be okay with that. And I recognize too, like, as I get older, like, yeah, I'm fine with being recognized. I take pictures of people, I say what's up, all of that. But I also like to be out with my sister and my nephew, and it's not a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, we like to be able to go out to dinner and be out to dinner. You know what I'm saying? People might be like, oh, hey, ain't that the, or that's so and so, but we get to sit and be, I like as much as I love luxury and all those things, I really do enjoy a simpler way of life.
That's
awesome.
so important. I mean, this was amazing. This is one of my favorite episodes.
100%.
Just the energy.
How did I talk about this? It's 3:55. They said you was late, so you were making up.
Yeah, it felt. It's just it.
Again, like y'all.
It was
y'all
natural.
Been like, girl.
Nah, it's natural, and that's why when I said before we started, our podcast is just natural. You know, it's just the conversations that just flow like to where we lose track of time. You know, it's not like strict weird questions and it's uncomfortable.
Time for real.
Yeah.
Like I was literally like, I just looked at the clock like. Like okay.
That's what happens when the energy's flowing. You know,
That's
when good energy's around, everybody, we just have a normal conversation.
Yup.
I know I'm a chatty Cathy, so listen, child. So anyway, but thank y'all for having me. I appreciate it. I really.
Let the people know, you know, anything you want them to find, the book, where they can find the book, with your Instagram, your Twitter, your Facebook, everything.
The book Breakthrough Sold Separately, you can get it on Amazon or wherever books are sold online. Beyondher.co is my website. You can read some of my past like essays and articles are there. Instagram, I'm at I am Brandi Harvey, which is where all my content is. You know, I do a Winning Wednesday every Wednesday. I host Twin Talk with my sister Carly Raymond every Wednesday night. And so you can find us there. And you know, that's pretty much.
You guys know where to find her.
This is where to find her. Like, this conversation is probably one of my favorite ones, and likewise. You know, I hope you guys take this information and actually start applying and start taking more care of yourself, taking more care of your mental health, and all these important things that we overlook, that we make it seem like it's just not that big of a deal. You know, Brandi told us today the importance of it, and like some facts I gotta do more learning. It looks like, you know, I didn't know a lot of the stuff you was mentioning, you know. So
and that's just why we here. We just here to be each other's teacher. You know, that's it. We showed up to Earth School for us to be each other's teacher, you know, and so that's it. You know, we volunteered to come here, might as well make the best of it.
Exactly. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening to the Top Figure Podcast. This podcast is brought to you by the Daily Meetup, the only organization that meets up every single day, Monday to Friday, for an hour. You can check it out at thedailymeetup.com. You can try it for $1. If you like it, you stay. If you don't like it, you leave. You're more than likely going to stay, you know. So go to thedailymeetup.com, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning.